Hi, this is the New Year in Review where we talk about books and all bookish content. Coming to you today with my January book chat. So, if you have not seen my video for my January TBR, I will link that down below with other books or other challenges that I'll be talking about. So, yeah, 2025 was an interesting year. That was my second year doing a yearly challenge. I did one for 2024, did one for 2025. I was a lot more successful than I thought in 2025 than I was the previous year. So, this year, what I want to do is we're going to do the challenge once again. So, I do have my 26 to 2026 that I'm going to read. And this year, I am going to be more intentional about getting to those books. Even if I get to the book and I decide I don't like it and I have to DNF the book, the important goal is to get to the book. So I'm starting off my January the 1st, which where we're at right now. As you can see, I still have the tree. It's got a couple of more ornaments on that I need to wrap up, but we're getting into these challenges because I just want to read great books. I'm currently reading Moby Dick, and I am almost done with that. I wanted to finish this by the 31st, but yeah, that wasn't going to happen. So I'm halfway through that. So I will pick that up later on this evening before I go to bed. But I do have a couple of books that I want to start off my challenge with. So I'm introducing two books that I'm going to start with. And I actually definitely started flipping through them. The first one is The Slave Cause, A History of Abolition, Manisha Sanat. Now, this book definitely, it talks about the history of abolition, of the abolition movement here in the United States. Nowhere else, but just here. And so I was looking through it. I'm trying to figure out what book I'm going to start off with and get like a good chunky, a good head start in reading. And so we're going to start off by reading one paragraph in each book. Now, the caveat is that I'm only going to start with this book for today. I need to find a book every evening to read. Well, I don't need to, but I want to find a book every evening that I'm currently reading, so I can kind of like meet my monthly TBR challenges, and at the same time have a book that I just want to enjoy reading. So I commit, and I enjoy this one too. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the challenges too, but these are books I'm going to be a little bit more intentional about. So let's just clear that up. But so I have two books. So yeah, The Slave Cause, and then I have my my quarter one vlog, which is Built from the Fire, an epic story of Tulsa's Greenwood District, America's Black Wall Street, by Victor Luckerson. Now, this book I tried to read a couple of times for the last year and a half. I got halfway through the book, and so I will be vlogging this book, so you will see a separate episode for that at the end of the quarter. But I am going to read it now. So I'm trying to figure out which book I should start off with, and based on what I read and how I'm feeling at this very moment is going to determine the book that I start off with tonight. So let's get into this first one. So the first one is The Slave Cause. Introduction: the radical tradition of abolition. The conflict over contours and nature of American democracy has often centered on debates over black freedom and rights. The origins of those momentous and ongoing political struggles lie in the movement of a movement to abolish slavery. This book tells the story of abolition. It is a comprehensive new history of the abolition movement that extends its chronological parameters from the classic pre-Civil War period back to the American Revolution, and rejects conventional divisions between slave resistance and anti slavery activism, a history of abolition in the Lounge Durée. It centers African Americans in it. Abolition Abolitions was a radical interracial movement on one which addressed and entrenched problems of exploitation, disenfranchisement in a liberal democracy, and over anticipated debates over race, labor, and empire. Now, sometimes reading this type of introduction, I'm always having problem with the language, and I'm gonna tell you why. I personally, a person who loves reading history and have a record of understanding colonized language, this is troubling because even in the introduction, it states, and this is a history of 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 abolition in a longue durée. It centers African Americans in it. Now, if we're talking about a text that's supposed to be historical, you have to use the language that they were calling black people back then. They were not calling them African Americans. That was a coined term in the later part of the 19th century. So I am very sensitive towards, when people are not mindful of how the language is used, because history should be truthful, and sometimes it's offensive. Sometimes, it tugs at us, the words and the language that was used, but we have to get down to the bare bones of the text. So, in saying that, good introduction. But that's part of critical thinking. We just don't take things as face value. So that was a good introduction. So let me see. Now, Built from the Fire. I remember the sultry language in this book. And so, let me see if it'll ring a bell. Because I have not picked it up since the last time I tried to attempt to read it. And I tried to pick it up twice last year. So let me see what we're working with today at this moment. First paragraph. Jim Goodwin remembers the symphony of the old Greenwood well, the blues mingling with smoke as it wafts out of hazy juke joints, the sizzle of beef on the open grill at hamburger stands, the seductive murmurs of hustlers in back alleys peddling their pocket addicts. Oh, paddling their pocket addictions. The click clanks of women's heels on the sidewalk when all the maids crowded the street on their Thursday nights off. Greenwood was loud, boisterous. It was a ritual of impoverished celebration and emotional release. The same kind of black people that carved out in shacks, shotgun houses, and white picket fences homes across the nations since our involuntary arrival on these eastern shores. Now, that was the first paragraph to Built from the Fire. And it just brings back the reason why I did fall in love with reading the book, and I just don't understand why I haven't finished it. So, even as he describes, like, this is just one paragraph, but he's describing a moment in time, right? A moment in time that I have experienced myself, right? A moment in time that it feels like, community coming together. A moment in time where segregation was definitely, and it still is, but not as much, where segregation was the law. Like, these were people exhibiting black joy, the smell, the touch, the sound, right? The moment of joy. And just reading that paragraph alone, I'm thinking tonight I am going to dedicate my time to reading Built from the Fire. I'm going to start this one, and then we're going to see where we go from there. And then on top of that, I do have two other books that I started reading today. One is Frontiers. That is my quarter one read. And then I also started my Les Mis challenge, in which I do have the book right here with me. It's kind of big, so I'm not going to pick it up. But with the Les Mis challenge, because the chapters are butchy and they're choppy, what I did was I kind of took the pages, divided by 12 months, how many I need to have a marker by the month, and then markered by the weeks, and then markered by the days if I want to read so many pages a day. So that's how I did that one. The chapter, I didn't get into the chapters today. I only got into, what was it? Like the introduction, like the history of Les Mis, and Victor Hugo comparing his writings and the release of his book to Charles Dickens. And so that was interesting to read. I've never read that part of the book. Well, this is my first time really reading the full text of Les Mis, so it came out. It's an interesting start. As for the Frontiers, I did start the intro on that. That intro in Frontiers, it is very long, very very long. All right, so with Frontiers, I went and got the book. This is my quarter one challenge, and it was the prologue that I read today. Um, it gets off to a really good start. What I do love about the book is that it really dive deep into the historical context of the Xhosa people. It was an African tribe in South Africa, and so it gets into their to the background of the people that will be talked about throughout this historical text. And so I got into that today, but I think tomorrow I am going to commit a little bit more time to this reading in the evening time, along with the book I select. So yeah, it's good so far. I'll be jumping in and out throughout the 3 months and share my progress with you all on this one, and maybe some of my insight. Also, what I'm doing is going through my 2025 TBR, and I do have books that I have not finished yet, although I did pretty good on my TBR. It always felt like I didn't do as well. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So out of 12 books, out of 25 books, I did not finish 12 of them. So what I want to do in my January TBR, which I did create a little small TBR book for me just so I can remember what books I need to pull next. I do want to pull one of my 2025 books, and let's see which one we'll pull. So we have How the Word Got Passed. I don't think I'm ready for that because I already have other heavy reads. Plantation Goods. Don't want to do that. That's another heavy read. I'm looking for something that I can probably get to. Now, My Mysterious Son. This book by Dick Russell is about a man who he tells the story about his son who was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and how the process of his healing. That's good. That's a little bit too heavy for me right now. Delicate Condition. Now, this was one that I pulled last year to read late last year, and I never got to it. This is a fiction. This is about a woman who she had a mixed let me not do that. It's a medical mystery. Let me say that. It was good. Paradise. I read Paradise, and I was doing a reread last year. I think I can pause on Paradise right now because I can just go, yeah, because I've already read it. Um, I did not quite finish Uncle Tom. I don't know why I have this marked out. I didn't finish that one, you guys. I'm being honest about my list. A Fistful of Shells. I can't do that right now because I'm still reading Combi and I am still reading Infinite Jest. And so these are books that I'm like annotating, but I do have time when I sit down and read them. Cloud Cuckoo Land. Um, Literary fiction. I don't think I'm looking for something. Like, see, I tend to pull titles with heavier text than necessary. Like this one, Those Bones Are Not My Child. Um, should I read that right now? Because right now I'm just going back. You know what? I think I'm going to stick with A Delicate Condition. That seemed like that can be a quick, fast read. Delicate Condition by Danielle Valentine. I think I'm going to stick with that one. Let me go. I'll be right back. Let me go get this book. Okay, so Delicate Condition, Danielle Valentine. Her body is no longer hers. I think this is going to be the one I knock off my rollover TBR. So this book is going to be the book this month for my rollover TBR. And if you're interested and know about any more of these challenges that I'm doing, I posted my January TBR, my Les Mis challenge, my quarter 1 challenge, Mammoth Book challenge, and my 2025 rollover TBR challenge. All of this is posted under my Substack, which I will leave, not Substack, I'm sorry. It's posted under my profile on my, what is the name of this? I gotta pause. Storygraph. We're not gonna pause. Storygraph. I have shared it on multiple of my social medias just in case people are interested in following along on any of these challenges, or if you've read any of those books and you want to share your insight. But yeah, so that is my rollover challenge for January, because we are going to get into reading great books. And who's to say, like, this is what I have to start the year off with, because I am still reading books from last year, and I still have, 2 other books I'm reading and annotating and also enjoying. Don't get me wrong, I am enjoying Combi and I am enjoying Infinite Jest. Infinite Jest is a little bit more of a challenge than Combi. Combi is a little bit more emotional because we're getting into the testimonies of soldiers, from the Civil War, and so yeah, it's turning out to be a good, how can I say, collection of readings that I have going on right now. So what do you have going on right now for this time of the year in January, and are you getting off to a good start? If you're interested in any of these challenges, like I said, go check my Storygraph. I will leave the link below. Become a how can you say, not a member, but I guess follow me. Y'all know I'm still trying to learn these terms. Follow me, I follow you back. Unfortunately, I'm not on Goodreads, so if you come to Storygraph, you can see the books that I'm reading, the challenges that I'm engaging in, and on my Substack, you will see my weekly wrap-ups with my books. So until then, I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.